6, 5, 4. We've gone for main engine start. We have.
Silly Willy Billy's a million miles away. When I had a little mind that I needed him to say, but I don't now. Cause I'm mom and dad, I'm a grown-up boy. Saving all my money, gonna buy myself a new toy. Took a jet to the bottom of the visionary mind, where I'm making up the words to a song that doesn't rhyme. If you can't see me, then you better leave a note. Wait, scratch that, cause I'm never gonna be at home. Home, such a funny little thought. Everybody thinks now that I ought to rock. Not true, if you know what's best for you. Shut my eyes down now, can I get a deep blue? Sipping 7 up like a full-grown man. Even got a beard now, got it looking so grand. On account of vivid land in the middle of my palm, and I can't admit I don't belong. Gotta jump now, it's almost 75 degrees. If you're looking at the wing, I bet you feel the breeze. Got enough sun now to make the skin wanna dive. Outside one time, let's fly high rise. Got a itty bitty care on the itty bitty earth. If you don't know what to wear, then you don't know what it's worth. If you don't know what it's worth, then you don't know what you're missing. Everybody in the right mind gonna wish in. Okay, here we go.
Don't waste your time away in life. It's worth the wait. Never too late.
And I'm walking, I'm talking, I'm on the phone. Not nobody to talk to, I'm on my own. I can blast this music louder now. Walk prouder now, I'm allowed to now. Go fresh lemonade in a green glass ice. Got a pair of blue shades, David F says nice. When I'm a long ways away from the home that I used to know. I can go where no one ever would have dreamed to go. Boom bang, and I got the right away. No point in telling me I'm wasting time today. Lose change if you know the things I know. Every little bit of it I hit when I'm not at home. Home, such a funny little thought. Everybody thinks now that I ought to rock. Not true if you know what's best for you. Shut my eyes down now, can I get a deep blue?
Don't waste your time away in life. It's worth the wait. Never too late. Don't waste your time away in life. It's worth the wait. Never too late. Don't waste your time. Don't waste your
What is going on, everybody? Today, well, first off, let me start off. Let me tell you about the pain in the butt I went through yesterday. To do this, I wanted nothing more than to get on here last night and get all of this done and do a live stream, but this PC was just not having it. Oh my God, I should have cleaned that. All right, but yes, as for the thumbnail, let's throw it back in here real quick. I don't even know where it is. Let's see here. I think it's going to be this image. Let's just add a new one. My daughter was part of this thumbnail. Was it this one? No, I don't even know where I put it. Oh, it's in here. Okay. Scroll down. Yes, this is what we're doing today. That ain't it. That ain't the right Alright, so tonight, that's what we're doing. the CL35. We've been seeing a lot of videos out and about on YouTube talking about this little CL35 frame that we got down here. Let's change the view. All right, this little frame here, this little 30 what is it, a 3.5 millimeter, takes some 30, what is it, a 3.5 inch propellers. You know, I don't understand this. It's counting down. Yeah, spat. I know. Thanks. Yeah, I was trying to find the image. For whatever reason, I couldn't find the image. Maybe I should have went to like add an image source. Maybe that's what it was. Yeah, I definitely clicked on the wrong thing. I could have just went here, add source there. And I should have realized that when it was giving me the wrong, this is the image that I was trying to get to. Alright. Let's just put this up here, shrink it down a little bit. Got my daughter in this one here, so this is what we're doing today. We'll just drag it over here. Alright, now it's out of the way. But yeah, we measure our props in inches, but everything else down here, this is all measured in millimeters. I don't get it. I never understood that. But needless to say, it takes some little 3.5 inch propellers. And this thing's supposed to be amazing. It can handle a full-size GoPro, like a Hero 10. You know, I don't have a Hero 10. All I have is a couple of 6s. Yeah, one of them was cracked. Us in the FPV world, we don't know how that happens. It fell downstairs. You know, I've had a lot of GoPros fall downstairs. So, but needless to say, yeah, we're gonna be putting this thing together. And I did a video where, and I never even posted it, but I was starting to talk about all of the hardware that comes in this bag. It's in a Ethlix propeller bag right now, just to organize everything. So I'm just gonna keep it turned around like this. We are going to, let's switch views. And didn't think about it before, but I'm going to do it now. Add a new one, add a new source, image 3. We're going to browse for it. It's going to get really big here in a second. We'll shrink it back down, just so the thumbnail's in here as well. Because everything is down there in that bottom right hand corner that's down. Nope, down over here. No, where is it? Where the hell is it? Oh, right there. Everything right there, it's not important. So, and I'm going to try and build this. No. Invert selection. Transform. Center flip horizontally or vertically. I'm going to try something. Did it do anything? Flip it. No, it's not letting it. Okay. Try one more. We're going to try to flip it. Yeah. I'm not even going to say that, Spat. I'm not even going to do it. Thank you. I'll say thank you. Rotate 90 degrees clockwise. No wonder. That's why I'm on the wrong stinking desk view. Now let's flip it horizontally. That way, no, that didn't work either. Dang it. Transform vertical. There we go. Okay, now you guys, it's facing the way that it needs to face. That way, as I move. Nope. Flip vertically. Or no, I did that last time. We're trying some stuff out while we're doing a build here. Here in a second, I'm going to have to put like a timeline in here. Transform. We're going to flip vertical. Then we are going to flip horizontal. That way, my right hand's here, left hand's there. Perfect. Much better. All right. So needless to say, this is what we got going on right now. We're going to be putting this thing together. I've already had it together. I have kind of had it in the air. I have already found some things that I like about it. I have found some things that I dislike about it. Got Guys, I am not a professional pilot by any means. Just to kind of elaborate on that, this kit, this frame came together with so much hardware. You would not believe how much hardware it came with. It came with, everything is all M2, but it came with 7mm. It came with 8. It came with 6s. Let's see, 6, 7, 8. I think it skipped 9 and went to 10s. There was some 12s, 14s, and 16s. As for the top plate here, there was a couple of bigger, I'd want to say these are maybe 4mm, M4s maybe M3.5, I don't know. With some big flange nuts that were on there. But I went ahead and put this together. It comes with 8 of these gummies. You guys can see. The gummies are for the absorption from the motors to help give some, how can I say it? To basically help absorb anything that's coming at your cameras. Even down to the FPV camera, which mounts right in here where my fingertips are. You guys can see there, this thing as it's flying, kind of can't even see it really, but needless to say, your FPV camera will mount here, and it is on the gummies as well. So and there's like nowhere for me to press down to show you, but yeah, you can kind of see there. But needless to say, you got these big bolts that go all the way through to help hold everything together in the event of an impact of any kind. That way the gummies don't rip off and your camera goes one way. Being that your this is going to be an HD version, so I'm going to put a CADX Vista in here. But so I would have the camera. I don't know what camera it is. Leave it that way. But I'd have my camera attached here, and so in the event that without these nuts and bolts in here, if the camera holder came dislodged, that's going to put a lot of strain on your actual Vista camera, your HD camera, even an analog camera. It's still going to put a lot of strain on it. So, but like I said, I had this thing together already, so now I've ruled out of the equation everything that don't need to be in here. So this whole bag of stuff, gone. So not gone, but I have hardware now. But needless to say, we're going to get putting this thing together. 2 things that you're not going to see right away is you're going to see a very small, very thin standoff. There comes with, I think there was 2 of them in the bag. Very self-explanatory. You got one that goes on one side in the front, right out here. Let's use one of my new pointers that my wife got me for Christmas. That way, Mr. Spat and 2 Scoops of Crazy cannot make fun of me about anymore. They can find plenty of other stuff, though. Trust me. But needless to say, you got a standoff that's going to go right here on motor number 2. And then down over here, you're going to have one that goes the opposite way. Obviously, you guys can see here. One goes straight up. The other one goes straight down from motor number 3. And you're just going to basically hole here, line everything up, and jam it together ever so forcefully. And I had a great time taking it apart, just to say. I am not saying tools will not be required, but I am going to just push down to make sure that those are seated all the way down. They are flush with the plastic at the bottom, flush with the plastic there, and that holds the cage pretty much in one piece. I don't know whether this is just propeller protectors. They're not ducts because it's slotted, it's vented. So in the meantime, if you hear me say cage, this is what I'm referring to, is the cage. Your soldering iron still sucks. Yeah, I know. So what I'm grabbing, what I'm keeping, guys, give me 1 second. The wife is calling. I'm going to mute this real quick just for a second. Please hold. Alrighty, sorry about that. The wife had surgery on Tuesday, so I can't not answer the phone, you know. So, anyways, now I've already, like I said, I've already had this thing put together once. Here is my cluster of what the hells. And this is where we start getting into what I dislike about this frame. This is an HD version. At the very bottom here, this is the back. This is the bottom plate, the lower plate. It already has the foam landing pad on it. It's a pretty firm landing pad. And I'm going to spin this around now because I already know that if you're looking at this, it's not so... How could you call this? It's like a baseball field. It reminds me of a baseball field where you have a longer distance between home plate and first base and third base. So the distance between the very back of it to the right side longer than it is from the right side to the nose, to the front. It's not very long at all. And your electronics, or excuse me, your bottom plate is going to... Did you redo the motor solder joints? Hey, keep it clean. We can't say joints in this stream. No, I didn't. I still hadn't even done that because I was messing around with the computer last night. Here's the new motor. Hadn't even got that. I haven't even cut the wire yet. We'll be doing that later too. So we got the bottom plate here. Foam pad's already on it. The electronics are already on it, and as you guys can see here, you probably see what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4 sets of electronics. The bottom two closest to the lower plate right here. That is the naked CADX Vista, my first naked CADX Vista. I don't know if you guys can see that. Can you see the blue that's on here? The blue gunk that is here, there, all that blue. Yeah, that came out of the CADX Vista. Yeah. So that was that. Wow. Did you have a glitch? No, the wife called, so I muted it for a second. Everything still seems to be going good. Did you redo the motor glitch? But needless to say, it's a 20 by 20, and this is something else that I don't like. I guess this is gonna be the first thing that I'm gonna point out that I don't like. All my electronics mount right on top of the CADX Vista, even though the upper plate has a spot to mount everything to. The upper plate measures out for a 26.5 by 26.5 mounting pattern for like an all-in-one, like one of Gep RC's F7, what is it? F722. They're currently putting a 40 amp F722 all-in-one in these things, and I don't have anything that size. I have 20s, I have 30s, or whatever they, I don't have anything to that size, that whatever. So, because I have 20 by 20s, I mounted I took long screws, went right through, went all the way through, and you guys can see the green. The green is just some TPU, I guess you could say some TPU standoffs, some 2M standoffs. Made them different sizes. It was kind of a process of elimination. Let's get a small one here. Obviously, I got one that's in between the carbon fiber and the absolute bottom. What would you call that? Bottom half of the CADX Vista air unit or whatever. It was like a 2mm piece that just went in there just to keep it, just to space it up off the frame just a little bit. And then I want to say the middle one was a 6mm, and then I have a 5 up here at the very end. And then the gummies on the electronics themselves. And I mean, that's pretty much how it's going. But in part of this whole process, these electronics are coming off. And I got the flight controllers over here. Here's the standoff. A little bit bigger motors are going to be going on it. So, but yes, this is part of what I don't like about this, is the fact that it requires such an oddball size. I mean, it is legitimately an oddball size. And there's really not a whole lot to the assembly of this frame. legitimately, it's like once you put that bottom plate on here, you have 4 screws. 1, 2, 3, 4. They require a 7mm. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. Nope, obviously not. Right there, M2x7 screw. It comes with a whole bunch of them. There was probably twice as many in this bag. So you're going to put 4 of those in the very bottom. The bottom plate is done. And then right here, you got your upper plate. Obviously, you can see how this thing's starting to come together. You cannot put the upper plate on yet because your electronics have to get in there. Trust me, it is a wonky, weird way of having this done, and I think this is why they have not sold a whole bunch of the frames like I did. I just purchased the frame, but I think that's why everybody's going with the all-in-one, what is it, like the plug and play or bind and flies and whatnot. So legitimately, you cannot put this upper plate on, but when it's time, you will have to just give me a motor. Okay. We're gonna pretend that the electronics are already... No, we are not gonna pretend. I have one right here. Okay. We are gonna pretend that your electronics, your stack and everything is all here. Your bottom plate is in there, and you are using whatever method of flight controller or electronics. In my case, it is gonna be the 20x20 stack, and I'm mounting everything straight through the entire CADX Vista, all the way through, and putting my electronics onto there. So I'm going to have everything in its natural area of where it has to go. Like I said, we're just pretending it's there. I'm just trying to smush everything down towards kind of out of the way. So everything's there. Everything is in place. The motors are lined up. And then I put the upper plate on. This is what I do not like about this. In the event that you have to work on any of your electronics, the frame is designed to either upside down mount everything, all your electronics, and then flip it over in your configurator, or mount it screws down with your gummies up. I don't know if that's even a thing. And then have it to where it still sits right side up to where your ESC is on the bottom. Or you put your all-in-one in there. If your electronics are mounted to this, you are going to have to disconnect all of your electronics. And legitimately unscrew each and every one of your motors. Let your motors drop down. Disconnect all your electronics. Your camera, your FPV camera is going to have to be disconnected. Just to take the bottom plate off to then have access to this. All of your motors got to come off. If you're mounted to the upper plate, and even if you were upside down where you still had your soldering joints, just for say that you got an all-in-one, a 26.5mm all-in-one, or you're doing, something similar to what I'm doing, but a different method, and you got this thing mounted all the way up against that upper plate, your working area is now limited. By removing the bottom plate, you're still limited as to how you're gonna... you're soldering almost straight up and down at this point. This is the only thing that I do not like about this frame thus far. I have not really had the chance to fly it other than hovering it behind me. So, yeah, that's all we can really do. So, at this point, all I really have to do is, just for myself, is start taking these other electronics off, because the motors that are suggested with the CL35, the Cinelog 35, is a 2004. I can't think of the KVs right off the top of my head, but they're pretty high. I should have put the link, and I probably will later on when I just go back through and edit. But it's, how can I say it? It's a pancake motor. You legitimately want to have a pancake motor in this build. Part of the reason why I'm not using the motors that I have that I have on here right now, one, these are like a 1400 series, I think. Do you think these are 140 somethings? 15. It's a 1500 series. So they're, one, way too small. Way too small. Number two, they're way too long. The height of the motor itself plus the shaft, it would actually hold the frame up off the ground. And when I armed it, it would literally just start dancing around because it's standing on the top of the motor shafts. So, you know, come in for one landing and hit the pavement wrong, and the thing's literally, you know, you're going to have fun trying to get your propellers off. So you'd want to, you know, you want to get a thinner motor, and that's what I have here. These we're going into a 1600, I think it is. A 1606, I believe it is. There's some Mamba motors. Mamba Toka 1606, 3750 kVs. That one's not soldered simply because my other one was shot. Needless to say. So I'm going to go ahead, right now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take off the flight controller, which I really don't want to because everything else is already, or no, wait. Yeah, I do have the receiver on here, so I'm going to have to take the receiver off as well. And something is just not letting it. Oh, I still had one more little nut to go. There we go. But yes, like I said, I mean Justin Davis from Drone Camps. I mean, he has multiple videos where he talked about this frame. He has flown the bigger ones. He has flown, or excuse me, not the bigger ones. He has flown the 25 series. He has flown the 30 series, and I have heard nothing but good things about. I've heard nothing but good things about this little CL35, and the fact that it's able to carry a full-size GoPro without, you know, very much issues, if any. Of course, it's going to knock down your flight time, but you know, it's perfect for what I'm looking to do with it. So, alright, I currently have my receiver taken off. I'm trying to be as gentle as I can with all the electronics. All of this still has to be mounted. My first naked GoPro. So like I said, I'm trying to be as cautious with this thing as I can. Here we go. And I don't know what... Oh, okay, I take that back. So what I'm going to be putting in mind, it is a Mamba F405 Mini. This is the MK3 version. Along with a... Don't know, whatever that stack comes with. That's the ESC. I think it's a 40 amp, if I'm not mistaken. Not 100% sure. Alright, let me... Alright, let me plug in my TS1000 here. My TS100 V2. I just updated the firmware on my soldering gun. The thing works amazing. What else did I need to grab out of there? Here's some solder. And while this is here, I am gonna, how do I want to do this? I'm gonna stick this up here because I am gonna have to cut my motor wire. And this is the downside to this frame. You guys are getting ready to see it right here. I'm gonna grab, I'll just grab two of these 7mm screws. These are M2x7s. Here's one, two. If you guys need hardware, if you guys need M2 hardware, just buy the frame. Cheaper to buy the frame than it is to just buy the hardware, because the frame comes with all the hardware. Alright, and like I said, I'm just mounting a couple of these. Well, well, not necessarily mounting. Mounting's definitely not the right word. I'm just placing 2 of the screws for now, just so I can place the electronics where they need to be. That way I can cut my motor number 3. I can cut that down and have it at the appropriate length. Come on, get up there. There you go. And it's going to be close, but it will work. Come on, get you in the right spot. And as I'm looking at the motor wires, I could desolder them and angle them in the direction that I would want them to go. But of course, for motor number 3, I wonder if this would work. For motor number 3, I am going to cheat a little bit and give it a little extra than it's needed. Or than it needs, I should say. So, but all I'm doing is I'm just taking advantage of the fact that the bolt pattern up at the top, I can see where I need to go. Guys, we all know how to do this. There's absolutely zero sense in explaining what it is that I'm doing. Okay. Once again, taking advantage of the cage protector, Mr. Spat wants to call it, and using that bolt pattern just to kind of, I'm going to use it just to help hold everything while I tin up the wires. Okay. See one that kind of looked like it tried to get away. And Mr. Spat, I did find out why it was acting so glitchy. It was because the motors I was trying to use was definitely not designed to try and carry something this heavy. So, but I did do the research. This setup that I'm putting on here right now, as far as the electronics and motors, this came off of my Diatone Taycan, and that frame to this frame, the weight is significantly less. This is the part that Jeremy's been waiting for. He's been waiting to see this. He's been waiting to see this soldering iron come out. Jeremy, that's your cue, by the way, for you to make fun of me. Alright. Okay, I got those soldered up. And while I am right in here, before I solder the motor wire on, I'm looking on the flight controller here, and I did not do it. I did not leave it on here, which is stupid of me. I'm gonna have to open up a window, and this is a this is stupid. I mean, I should have thought about this beforehand. MAMBA F405 Mini MK2, no, MK3 manual. We'll just call it the manual, because I need to see where my what would you call it? F45 and Mini MK3 MK3.5. What the hell? F45 Mini MK3. All right. I just need to see the wiring pattern where the, let's see here, I got ground 5 volt RC or S port. Where's that there? Okay, so I'm gonna have, what is that? Ground. So I got one. I'm gonna guess RC. If not, I'll just have to plug everything in before I insert it to make sure that it's connecting and that I have it in the right spot. So I need 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Fourth one up is ground on the receiver itself. And I cut these, so I'm gonna have to tin these as well. And that's one thing I love about the silicone wires is it does not take much to, it just takes a fingernail really. Just a fingernail to get the sheath, I don't know, fire in the hole, whatever. I'm more worried about burning my fingers like I did the other day. I don't even remember who I was on the phone with. I think it was you. And yeah, I still don't have feeling there. All right. So I'm gonna get these tinned. I don't know if you guys can see this, but even if you can see it, like I said before, you know, we've done this. We know how to do it. There's no sense in. So I'm just letting the metal part of the wire touch the soldering gun so it can get warm so I could apply solder to the other end. Yeah, there's no sense in talking about all that. So get the flight controller back over here. Number 4 was going to be the negative. Let me grab another precious tool that my wife had bought me for Christmas. And then I'm right-handed. This is a 20 by 20, and we all love those. Before I even attempt that, I'm going to get further nerd on you. Glasses. Guys, I don't wear glasses. I generally don't wear eyeglasses of any kind. But these are just what they call readers. And especially for these smaller boards, this actually simplifies the viewing experience. I mean, the only thing I can suggest, go to a dollar store. Just pick up a cheap pair of like 1.5 or 1.25 strength reading glasses. And you don't even have to put them on to build. Just put them on and look at some of your stuff. Look at some of the electronics and see how much clearer or how much more ease it would be to use a set while you're building. And then what did I say? We were going to go on what? S-Bus N. Oh, okay, there it is. S-Bus N is also RC. So RC was the second one. All right. Okay. Those are all in place. Give a nice little tug. Make sure nothing wants to fall out. I am going to leave those still. I'm going to leave that turned on just for another moment. I'm going to go ahead and, how do I want to do this? Do I want to leave that there? I think I'm going to leave that in place. I think I'm going to leave it where, no, wait, hold on. I don't know what I'm going to do, how I'm going to do this, but I want to have something that will help hold it without getting in the way. So I'm going to pull out the cable here, the flight controller and ESC cable. Just tuck you in there for a moment. And I'm going to take advantage of the bolt holes that are in there. And we've already got these pre-soldered. That might be completely in the wrong spot, but it's okay. And scoot some stuff around. Scoot you over here. But I'd rather have it sitting like this, simply because the ESC is not sitting on top of any of the other electronics, especially considering the Vista is naked. One motor wire number 2, motor wire number 3, beautiful. Alright, and I'm still not done, but at least I got all 4 motors connected now. Now the reason why I say I'm still not done is simply because I have tweezers here. Alright, how do I want to do this? This is that pain in the butt part right here, where, you know, how do I get to my electronics, and how do I work on it, and how do I make my repairs, or a motor goes out, and like I said, this is the only downside to this frame that I have found thus far, is simply the accessibility. Alright, careful, don't jerk on the camera antenna. I'm going to leave all of these here. And if I'm not mistaken, it goes power, because I'm using, I mean, obviously you guys can see I got red, black, red, and yellow. And then I want to say furthest away is TX, but I'll definitely look that up. So for right now, I am going to take my yellow and red pair, and I'm going to get my yellow and red pair out of the way, simply because I know, you know, you guys will probably end up using a different color. But I'm going to get those close to where they need to be. The flight controller is going to sit right on top, like so. I'm going to take this, if it will fit, and I'm just going to create a tray underneath. In the event that any of the solder happens to pop or splatter or even spatter. Yeah, I said that. Is spatter a word? Does this shirt make me look spat? But anyways, I'm going to take my red wire and I'm going to cut some of this off of here. Let's cut about 1.5 inches. Well, 1.5 inches off of what I have. And these are my positive and negative, and I'm going to tin these, and then these are just going to get tinned and go straight to the to my input power. Come on, just separate them a little bit. Perfect. All right. Okay. I need to figure out something that I can do for music. And I'm not gonna do it like that. I was just gonna have it overlap, but in the event of something goes wrong, I don't want the negative wire crossing over the top of the positive, so I'll just separate them on different sides. Come on. Just re-angling the wire itself. There, that was much better. And while I'm at this angle, I'm just going to go ahead and try and retouch the positive lead. There, that's much better as well. I feel more satisfied with that. You spattered? How many kids you got? I think you did it more than once. Okay, camera, motor. Alright, now this can be drawn down closer to where it's gonna be here in a few seconds. Get that over there. And now I'm just twisting these just to kind of for better organization, because these ones are gonna go up and actually touch into here, and I need Spat, what's the order? Positive, negative, RX, TX? Or is that TX, RX for the Vista? Vista, V-I-S-T-A. Let me just type it, C-A-D-D-X, Vista. No. Cadex, Vista. I'm looking for an image that will show me what is what, where I can see it a little clearer. There we go. I found a really good image here. So it's going to go... No. Am I looking at that right? Maybe that wasn't a good picture. There's just something about the way that looked. Positive, negative, I don't know. You couldn't grab one? Oh, here we go. But it don't tell you which ones they are. It just shows a good image. What the fuck? Oh, wait, hold on. Maybe. I take that back. It looks like battery, but I could be wrong. I just want to get my TXs and RXs correct. Oh, here we go. I found a good picture. Battery, ground, RX, TX. All right, so it's going to be in that order. Battery. Let's see here. So I got battery. Ground. RX is red. RX comes out as red. So I'm going to need red to T. Red to T? So red to number 3. Okay. So let's cut half of this off. Look at I'm making extra wire for extra builds. Okay, red to number 3. And I say 3 is just my mental note because it's the third. It's going to be the third. Whatchamacallit, on the board. It's the third one over from the left. I'm telling you guys, eyeglasses, they could be your best friend. Alright, now I have my flight controller here. That's going to be the bottom. So red to number 3. So we're going to do yellow first, because yellow is going to be further away from where I'm able to hold it. And then grab the red one. I mean, technically, because I'm not running a. I am not running any kind of like a DJI. What is that? The remote control or any of that stuff. I'm simply doing this simply for the on-screen display. Beautiful. Give them a quick tug. Tug one, tug the other, wiggle, nothing's wiggling loose. Unplug my TS100,000. Positive negative RXTX. So, all of that is now connected. Now, where did I put the... Are one of these marked? No, I wonder if... Okay, nothing is marked on the connectors themselves, and I'm just trying to straighten the wire to see if everything is straight from one end to the other, nothing crosses. Okay. Okay, on here I have ground on this side, current on the other. Got that connected in. Alright, I'm going to run you here first, so you're going to go on top. I got the gummies already there. You're going to be over on that side. Am I going to need another little spacer? Some of these flight controllers actually need those little itty bitty gummies. And because it's so close over here, because it's so close and I do have the extra room, I am going to put in a small little life preserver. One of the small like little gummies. I'll show you here in a second. One. Can I grab more than one? Two. I'm looking for number 3 and number 4. Come on, one more. You're right there. That way you just got to stick it in the bag one time and you can get them all out at once. There we go. Okay. And like I said, I mean, it didn't need it, but I'd rather have that extra space because I have the extra space to work with. Alright. Tweezers just to kind of there. more. There we go. Alright, now the flight controller is ready to go in place. There we have it. Move the receiver over here. Plug the ribbon cable in. And then I can start putting on these little M2 easy to lose nuts. Come on. There. Got it. Halfway through. There it goes. And all I'm doing is just applying a little bit of pressure to the top of the plate, or the top of the board here. There. Alright, everything is there. Now here is the pain in the butt part. Everything. Legitimately, everything has to come up through this thing. So, I'm working my way through from longest to shortest. I'm going to stick the receiver through, the battery lead through, keeping in mind the orientation of the lower plate and the cage, like I said I was going to call it. Make sure that everything stays where it needs to be, so it'll just make moving stuff around simpler in a minute. I'm going to grab the tweezers just so I can grab the hub of the wire. Jeremy, this looks like... Jeremy, I think this is something that you would love to put together and work on. Alright, so we're halfway done. And guys, I have tried every which way, what would be best, what would be not best, what would, you know, it's... I gave up on the tweezers, and obviously you guys can see that I'm just using my fingers to kind of work from underneath and then work to where I want it to go. And there we go. Everything is there. And then just carefully letting it fall somewhat into place. I mean, granted, it didn't line exactly up where I wanted it to go, simply because the motors decided to have a mind of their own and try and go in their own spots. So, I'm going to get one screw ready to get put in. Grab the flight controller. All I'm doing is just grabbing the electronics, and the cage is coming up with it, but I don't want to flip it over too abruptly, because all of the electronics are just sitting in place kind of right now. They're just sitting there, just dangling, and I don't want to rip or torque on anything. And as I try to find, okay, something just don't seem. Okay, it's simply because I over rotated the frame a little bit. So get over here. Everything is still kind of like just dangling at the bottom. Nothing's getting pulled on. Out of position. Alright, that makes more sense there. Okay. Gotcha. But you fell off. Of course you would fall off. Alright. One M2x7 in the bottom. It's snug. I'm going to go directly on I'm going to say home plate. I went from second to home, not your second motor. Remember I said I looked at it like a baseball field. So I'm taking this one here in between motor number 1 and motor number 3. That was snug. Let me get out a few of these because we're going to need to start using these in a second. Wait. And you remember what I was saying about making sure that everything was where it needed to be. The screw in between motor number 2 and motor number 4 just got removed. Now here comes 1 and 3. Simply because I have to pull the electronics back through so I can stick the HD camera back in where it needs to go. I got all 4 motor wires pulled through. I had all of the receiver, the motor wires, the antenna, everything was through except for that. So we're going to start back over again. I'm going to work away from myself. And get the forwardmost facing screw in. It's snug. The screw closest to me, I value my sanity. You know, I don't even have to ask you what question or what statement I made for you to type that, simply because I know you're referring to how badly you want to put one of these things together. Okay, here's motor number left. That one was over. Now keep in mind when it's upside down, so technically you got motor 1, motor 2, motor 3, motor 4, motor 1, because this over here is your back right. So, but I'm calling them off so you guys can see with it facing up in the upright position. So, okay, all 4 screws are in place. Nice and tight. Nice and tight. Nice and tight. Nice and tight. Alright. Carefully flip it back over. You are going over number 1. No, sorry. You gotta come back here. Okay, now on one of the standoffs that pops up through, this was one of the standoffs here. The closest one to me, which is now that the frame is sitting in the correct orientation, you know, with the bottom towards the bottom, the top at the top, there's a single small one of those standoffs right here inside of the TPU mount is a hole. It just wiggles and you just apply pressure and it goes where it needs to go. But now that you see where that has to go, before that goes into place, tuck that up here. Roll this TPU over. This is the receiver. What's going to be the best positioning for the wire of this? Like this. What is that? Okay, that's just part of. Okay. Run the Vista wiring on this side. You know, I almost feel like I'm trying to work on a 20 by 20. It's going to have to go that way. But because of the antenna itself on the Vista, you're going to go there. That way this thing applies some pressure down up against it. It's a plastic frame, so it technically can touch anything. There. And I'm just trying to push that TPU down there now. Now I can slide that TPU all the way down. Kind of make some room here. Got it. Now the CADX Vista antenna wire is held in place because of the receiver TPU stuff. We'll call it stuff. And then I'm just finished getting it flush into place right now where it's sitting. That's done. That's there. Now I can put that HD antenna TPU mount in place. Done. Now HD camera is going to come out here in the front somewhere. This is going to be motor number 4, motor number 3, motor number 2, and then motor number 1. Okay. Now, I think I have everything done as far as that's on that side of things. So, I am going to just bend my XT60s down. Viewing, looking at everything, making sure that everything is looking as good as it possibly can. I'm just applying pressure, holding everything down. That way I can see if anything's binding, if any of the wires are touching before I go to screw anything down. Everything appears to be good. So, I'm going to start off over here at what I called first base earlier. I'm just going to put a screw there. I'm going to put a screw in at home plate. And then another one at third. I'll show you where the one is at second. And I'm hoping you guys are familiar with baseball, softball, kickball, t-ball. Okay, first base, nice and snug. That's not the same screw, that's a different one. Different screw. Alright, here we go. I have no idea why that one got so snug going in right from the beginning. Alrighty. Timeout. Home plate's coming out. First base is going to come out also. I'm just going to stick these off over here to the side. There was one thing that I missed that if you don't get it now, you will not get it in the end. Our strap. Typically these things are designed to where we can take them and you can mount the battery any which way. So you can have it this way, you can have it this way, this way. So I am going to have my strap go this way, so it's going to run forward and through, simply because how everything's going to plug in, and that's going to be how I want mine to plug in. So I'm going to run my strap through. So if it goes through that way, it's going to be upside down. Through. I'm going to put I'm putting it all the way through. And this build kit came with two straps as well. Okay. Let's start over back at first base. 1. You are still a different screw. 2. Didn't exactly fall where I wanted it to. It just decided just to fall down there. There's number 2. Here is third base. And like I said, I'll show you the last one, which is roughly second. I'll show you that one in just a moment. Now, the fourth one is tucked way up here, directly underneath the floating camera bed. I have no clue if that's what they call it. That's just what came out of my head. There. And so now I have it roughly where it's going to go, so I'm just going to try and pull on this or kind of tweak it just a little bit, just to kind of get the driver to sit straight up and down. And nice and snug. Nice. One is snug. Home plate is snug now. Number 3, and that's all of them. 1, 2, 3, 4. They were all nice and snug. Except for home plate has to come out again. I did overlook one thing. Just one screw. Just one screw has to come out. How do I want to put this? Under? Or do I want to leave it on top to just kind of float around? How do I want to... This TPU piece here, this is for the actual... I could put you around that way and just let you loop, just to kind of burn off some... Just to burn off some of the... Well, I guess for the time being, I'll put it here. Technically, yes, I could probably get away with putting a M2x8 or an M2x9 through this hole. I might need to. We'll see here in a second. It looks like I'm going to have to. Try it one more time. You going to make a camera mount for that top plate? Yes, Jeremy, I will be making a camera mount. I am gonna have to do a like an M2x9 or something. So I'm looking for the hardware bag that came with it, and I think I tossed it over here. Yes. I already see some candidates. Yeah, guys, look at here's some of the hardware. Here's an M2x9. That should be plenty. And I'll just need one of those. I told you, you want hardware? Buy this frame kit. Not only will you get a free frame out of it, but you'll have a lot of M2 hardware. Low power battery on my phone. Yeah, that fits a lot better. I can actually feel the standoff now. Alrighty. No tension anywhere. Let's get rid of this before it gets stuck to a motor, which we all know is amazing. And now I'm just going to start twisting. I mean, here's how it's coming so far. Let me move this. Get the battery strap up here and out of the way. Here's what we're looking like so far. Because I keep hitting the camera, because it keeps like, I'm not saying it's in the way. That's not what I'm saying. But because I keep hitting it and like moving it and banging it around, I am going to try and find some M2x3 or M2x4 screws, some little itty bitty ones, and that way we can get this camera mounted. And I think they're in this bag actually, and the part that stinks about that is there's a lot of little stuffs in here. Hey Jeremy, I just made a naked Cadec Vista, so do you need a, what would that be, a clamp or whatever for the receiver or for the antenna? There we go. Camera's plugged in. Phone's plugged in. Alright, I don't know if, I think this is actually one of the screws for the Vista, but it will work and serve the same purpose. That is another screw for the Vista, and once again, also, it will work and serve the same purpose. But no, you know what? As I'm looking at this, that's not going to work. Because these screws here, they will go right through. They will go right through that TPU. So there has to be, it had to have came with a larger screw with like a, right there, M2 by 8 padded screw. I don't even know what that is, but it has a wider flange on the bottom, almost like a built-in washer. So as it travels through there, I'll be able to get into the, okay, that's what it is then. I got it. So let's put this thing on its, put the GoPro on its side, or the camera on its side, or the whole drone on its side. Trying to see where see how I can see and where I can best see. And I have a feeling that these padded screws are going to be a tad bit too long. Now, do I want that, if I go low, is it going to rest on, yes, it's going to rest down there, and we don't want it to rest because it'll, by allowing it to rest, it will take away from what the, what is this called? It'll take away from what the floating bed is supposed to do, and we don't want that. So there's one. And of course, I took it out. Do I see what I did with it? No! Oh, I see it. It's way over here. Okay. And I will be devising some type of a new mounting system for the camera, simply because it's just one, way too long. I like the idea of having what they call this padded, the padded screw, which, I mean, it's not really padded, it's more like a flange. I don't want to continue doing that because it's making it, there we go, there's a more straighter approach. I'm twisting the bed just a little bit. There we go. Alright. That's in place. Okay. Remember, the upper plate is still not screwed down. It's just screwed to the actual frame. The motors are not screwed down, because that's the last thing we have to do. And I'm just going to start dumping these out and start grabbing 16 screws and start putting them in place. Which is the next, I'm not saying pain in the butt, but getting them lined up. Because you can't push the screws through because it's such a nice, tight, snug fit through the plastic. And you need that space to view where your screws coming through and you're trying to line it up with the next hole. Will I still be able to plug this thing in? That's a close one. Motor for the camera mounting. The camera mounting floating bed. trying to think of the right way to say it. This screw is going to come out because I am going to have to run this through the configurator and probably through BL Heli, depending on the direction of that third motor that I had to, motor number 3 that I had to put on and replace. Jeremy, I'm serious, man. You should get one of these. They're amazing fun. We could build this and cuss at it the entire time. Together. Alright, there's that one. I was struggling to find that motor screw hole. And then found it before it flew, before I plugged it in. Yes. But yes, I like these I like these Toco motors. The 1600 series so much better than the actual 1500 series Zings that I was gonna put on it. Simply because one, they're not as tall, but they're those weird bearing ones, the ones that like the bearings, like when you go to turn it, like you can feel it. It's like there. Get it? Feels like it. Alright. Another screw. And put in a couple more screws, and then I gotta, well, I'll get the other motor mounted and up here in place. And then I gotta reach behind me and turn off my fireplace thing, because it is getting toasty. There we go. That one's lined up. That one's lined up. And because the flight controller, if you mount it to the upper plate, the flight controller would sit square to the motors, and it would kind of give the same, what would you call that? The same mounting origin, I don't know, for your mounting your motors and your wires and whatnot. But because of the way that I am choosing to mount it on top of the CADX Vista, from the bottom my board is rotated 45 degrees counterclockwise. So that will have to be something that I take into account when I go to stick this on Betaflight and check here in just a couple of minutes. There. So right now I have half of the screws in. This will just sit up like this, connect into there. I could probably put a zip tie. Right here, let it run through just to help hold those. And that's it. The upper plate is pretty much done. And then I have to go through and I have to put all these the stinking adapters in for the T-mount, or the T-mount, or the T-style, whatever. And that's it. But like I said, I have to. Wow, that's not even the right size. Holy cow. I don't even have a hex driver that big. Mr. Spat, would it be acceptable for me to use an old school, let's see here, 6'7"? I didn't even see you in here, bud. What's going on? I want jelly. He wants jelly. That is nice. Have to have the same RDQ tools. Hey, we can't say RDQ in here because this is a GEP RC thing. Although RDQ does sell better quality tools for a more affordable price. So, alright. Now I need to dig out some Allen keys. I don't care what Mr. Spat says. My show is not sponsored by Mr. Spat. Shit, do I have a 3 mil? Wow, is that not even 3 mil? Is that, what is that? 2.5? Yes, 2.5. 2.5. And I will use the tool that was supplied in the build kit, which I'm sure is just going to be easy. I'm sure this is going to be a very simple process to get this out. Let it rest. Oh, shit. You know, looking at the size of this thing, it almost looks like it would be the same exact... You're going to strip it out. I'm not going to strip anything out. Okay. The reason why I'm taking this off and this off is simply because now I can actually access the micro USB. And I suppose now would probably be a good time to start measuring some things and getting a upper plate planned on, you know. Alright. Is this thing going to reach all the way over here? I don't know. Let me see. Probably not. Let me try this USB extension over here. I don't know if it's going to reach. We all know how some USBs, we all know how some of them, ooh, I better tuck that away. Or get that, like, completely hidden and out of the way. I just looked down there and I seen my Cadex Vista HD camera just dangling by where the motors would be spinning. So that is going to be something that I want to make sure that gets completely secured up and out of the way. Okay. For now, it's out of the way. Okay. I'm going to be extremely upset if I can't get this thing to plug in because of this one motor, which this one motor is technically still in the way of the USB cord. So motor number 2 is coming out. And I don't have enough room. I wonder if, I know I have it, it's just a matter of finding it. somewhere I have a 90-degree it's a 90-degree USB thingy. But because I need it now, I won't be able to find it. Which, that's typically how it goes. I need it now, and it's nowhere to be found. I mean, I guess I could... Why not? Put the old smoke stopper in here. Where did I put those screws? I think I just slid them back over here. We're going to stick the motor number 2 screws back in. And I'm going to put a battery on it. I mean, I should stick it up to the configurator, because no, I have to rotate it anyways. No, I'm not going to do that. I was gonna just plug it on, just plug it in and see. Oh, it works. Okay, because I know the receiver is going to work. I know that, but no, it has to go on the configurator because I have to run it through. So, and I do not know where that $90-degree doohickey is. I know you're not in there. There's part of me that wants to say it might still be in the other workspace, but I'm not sure. But wait, maybe hold on. Here is the container. Which in here it should be. It's not looking promising. Still not looking promising. I'm getting very discouraged. Yep, not in there. So needless to say, I have a 90-degree USB reader, or not USB reader, a 90-degree. It actually came with, it's a 90-degree USB, so I plug the USB in it and it goes up and then kinks over 90 degrees to get into those hard to reach spots, and it's not working, and I don't have a I could try this. I'm going to try, and remember we were talking earlier about the things I did not like about this frame. I have crashed and jarred the frame hard enough to reset it. And, I don't know why, I don't know what happened, but shit happened, and that's what happened. So now I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 screws that have to come out just to get the USB connected to Betaflight. But these are the things that, that aren't talked about when you're watching a flight review. Hi, can you let us know how this thing flies? And that's all I want you to talk about. I guess it flies great. You get some great flight time out of it, even carrying a full-size GoPro that's still cased. But don't hook it up to your computer because, yeah, it might be a bit of a pain in the butt. But then again, they have the all-in-one version, so... Okay, I should not have... Oh, wait. Oh. Because I put those screws back down in there. I said earlier that the plastic keeps all these, you know, keeps it nice and snug. I was going to leave all the screws in its place, but I do not want one of the screws falling off, even though the bottom of the motors has that protective, like, plastic piece that helps protect the windings. I think that's what they're called. I still don't want one to come off and accidentally buzz. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to offset this just a little bit and plug that in. Alright, now let me shrink this down just a little bit. I'm running an older version of Beta Flight. Screen capture. We don't need that on there. Alright. I'm hoping you guys are able to see it. We're going to close 10.7. COM3. I don't think it's going to connect. I think I had this issue once before when I was running Streamlabs. And it won't, I don't think it's going to let me do it. Because it's only giving me COM1, and my COM1 is technically my DFU. So, that is it. Needless to say, you guys seen it put together. That's the build. It is a pain in the ass. So, what I am going to do is I am going to end this stream. It is 10:13. I am going to end it. But that's the build. That is the build putting this thing together. That is what it looks like. The only other thing that I had to do beyond what you've seen was stick the little T-mount motors, or the, where the hell am I at? I'm not even there. Hold on. No, we'll do this screen. Alright. Alright. The only thing that I didn't, like I said, the only thing I didn't do is connect the motors. You know, put those little, I got to put the little inserts inside of here and get these put into the T-mount style, you know. That's what these motors are. And then obviously put the propellers on it. That could be something for a different time. But yeah, that's what I'll do. Let me go ahead and get all of this configured. I'll get all this, I will get this side of things done. And that'll be a live video for another time. I might come back and do the live after this when I finish putting everything back together. I might just grab a GoPro, put it in the mount, and just, you know, video it. I don't know. But needless to say, that'll be a video for another time. Because for whatever reason, I cannot run my OBS while I'm on Streamlabs. That is just so stupid. I don't get it. Try one more time. COM1. Yep, COM1, that's all I'm getting. Okay. Alright, guys, that's it. I'm going to put this thing together, or finish closing this thing out, closing out the stream, and then get this thing connected in, and I'm going to make sure that my motors are turning in the appropriate direction. I am going to change the orientation 45 degrees counterclockwise. Once I'm satisfied with how all that looks, then I'm going to go ahead and button everything back up, remount the motors in the appropriate spots, and get the props put on. And like I said, when I go to put these things on, maybe I'll make a video on that on its own, because I haven't really seen a lot of people talking about, you know, pusher props. You know, hey, what do we do? You know, this is a pusher frame. You know, do the props go this way or this way? You know, I know how they go, but, you know, somebody else might. Somebody else that buys this frame, and now they want to do their own thing, no matter what. No matter what, whether your motors are on top or whether your motors are on the bottom, your propellers always sit in the same direction. They sit facing the top. Nothing changes. In my instance, if it was your standard drone, your standard quad, it would sit like this. Okay, so this is the direction. This here would be, say, motor number 2 and motor number 3. So, and of course, it's going to spin in this direction. So you have the top of the prop, the bottom of the prop. It don't matter if your motor sits this way, upside down. I can't get the... I was trying to just trying to be slick about it and slide the prop right in there. So, but still got the top's on the top, bottom's on the bottom. And so if it's upside down, it still goes with the propeller still sits. What's supposed to be on top is up top. The bottom of the propeller still sits at the bottom of the, you know, the bottom of the facing of the, whatchamacallit, the ground. You know, how can I say it? The top of the prop faces the sky no matter where your propeller mounts, whether it's top or bottom mount. It don't matter. The propellers never change. So I got to make sure that all that orientation and everything is done right. So, guys, take it easy. Jeremy, thanks for hanging out with me all night long. I will talk to you guys later. I'll figure out what I'm going to do after I do this. Yeah. Do I have a... Bye-bye. I'm going by. The stream is ending soon. So... That's a weird looking one. Why does that one look so kind of like... Ugh. There we go. Let's center on screen. There we go. Alright. Take it easy. I'm out. I'm hitting offline, and then I'm going to hit end stream. Just so I can get this done. See you guys. Thanks for hanging out.